Welcome to This Week I'm Learning, the podcast where Brandon forgets to write his intros until the last second or during production, so Charlie is being cheeky and writing the intro for him / me. This is Season 3, Episode 8, otherwise known as Episode 68, being recorded November 22nd, 2021, and I'm your host, the rookie Wookiee Brandon Vader, aka Captain Dracanis. Diagonal from me is the Jedi in the corner, Colton Roper, also known as Seeker 4761. Below me, we have the white lightsaber wielding Cody, aka Psychonitrous. Next to me is the author of this intro and the bringer of the balance of this farce, Charlie Stiffler, aka Mjolnir.
Thanks for reading that as written. Very trusting.
Yeah.
Well done.
I will get better because I don't like reading other people's shit.
I approve. Oh man,
I am not Ron Burgundy.
Is it
okay,
cold?
was I
in your
right
room?
about the white lightsaber? Cody, be honest. Are you a neutral?
Oh, see, I've never known what that means, and I feel like I get my nerd card.
It's filthy
taken away.
neutral.
Did you?
Yeah.
You've never watched the Clone Wars?
Aren't they gray?
No, I've watched
Isn't
the
that
Clone
the Grey
Wars.
Knights? Is what
The
they're
series?
Yeah, the series.
The animated series.
Yes.
Where Ahsoka at the end goes to white lightsabers.
Oh, I didn't know that's what that meant.
She's no longer a Jedi. She's a
yeah.
neutral.
Oh,
She's a neutral
okay.
Force user.
Yeah. No, I would see that. Yeah, I'd say that would be pretty accurate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The rookie Wookiee. Come on. Come on. That was pretty good.
I can't do it. Fun.
Yeah. Very
Look at us.
Changing
Podcast
stuff up.
introing. Podcast intros.
Yeah. Let's see. On this episode, Cody is going to talk about how his Loy...
Wow, you're
How
gonna murder
to-
this.
Low.
How to
No.
Loy his Krathong.
Krathong.
I see
I think it's
thong.
funnier.
Oh,
I think
okay.
It's funnier
yeah,
with
it's because it's a
Narthol the Grabthok.
Letters that is in Thai, things that are pronounced in Thai that isn't. I totally forgot about that because, TH sound when you see it
forgot
in Thailand.
the English that you speak.
Like Thai. Notice how Thai starts with a TH, and unlike certain people, how certain people think it's pronounced, it's not Thailand. It is Thailand. That should
Thailand.
give you a clue of how Krathong is pronounced.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway.
Thailand.
Anyway.
You'll have to narfle the
apparently-
Garthok.
Apparently this episode is just going to be me reading other people have written.
Just
It's
read
a
them all,
varying
Brandon.
degrees of-
Yeah.
Just do them in random languages and see if you can do it.
At least there's a very strange building. That's a very strange building.
There will be a very strange building. Eventually.
That.
If it ever gets to me after we talk about thongs all day.
Wherever Cisco is buried, assuming he's dead because he's irrelevant,
The thong
he's turning over
song.
his in his grave.
But also like Cisco, like Gothic art, the oboe, the metronome, and roulette, the French are pioneering something new-ish.
Yep.
Again?
Yep.
Ish.
Ish.
I don't know. I guess I did know about the oboe, but metronome. Interesting.
They created a lot of shit, a lot of chemistry stuff.
French were the most powerful civilization in the world for a little bit.
Yeah,
French
for a while.
Revolution.
Yeah. So, Brandon is going to be telling us about energy density and steel horses. In other words, the horsepower of motorcycles.
Or trains.
Yeah, gold wings. Yep.
Yeah,
I have
no
the
electric
decoder ring
Honda
for your
motorcycles.
taglines.
I mean, I am a simple rookie Wookiee.
You got to do the sound now.
Perfect.
All right, Cody, teach us some Thai.
Well, I'm not going to teach you some more Thai language as I am a Thai traditional. So this is one of the main celebrations here in Thailand, which is called Loy Krathong, which means to float a krathong. Loy to float, and krathong, well, is a krathong, which is here in a second, which you can see I didn't prepare myself for this. Where is XSplit VCam? Anyway, those things in the water are krathongs, which you float down the river. The reason for this is you are trying to pay homage to the water gods, as well as get rid of all of your negative energy and send some wishes. So you can put varying things in the krathong, such as coins. Some people make their krathongs out of money rather than banana leaves. I wouldn't recommend that, but you can do you on that. But some people actually put like nail clippings in their krathongs as well. The krathong itself, because that's negative energy that's coming from you, and you want to get rid of that, send that away. Krathongs are made out of banana leaves, typically. Banana leaves, they can also be made out of bread, typically have some flowers on them and some incense, and I'll show you
Incest.
incense.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Sense. And typically a candle. So what is on screen right now are some krathongs that my mom and I made back in 2011. The oddly shaped one is the one, of course, that I made, and the more perfect one is the one that my mom made. So as you can see, as far as krathong making, she is vastly superior than I am at it.
Wait. You said you made those in 2011?
2019, sorry.
Okay, I was like, 10 years ago, you...
Yeah,
didn't even know
10
that
years.
it was
I
called
didn't
Thailand
even
and not
know.
Thailand.
Yeah. I was in Gunnison and I made the krathong.
I was like, wow, okay.
Did you guys see that I was making krathongs back then?
Mercy.
You just didn't know why you were making them.
Yeah, I know. I was very confused. I'm like, what is this?
I got all these banana leaves and I got to float them somewhere. God damn it.
Yep. I feel the need to loy. I must loy my krathong.
Boy.
My krathong.
Krathongs.
Gotta get that krathong, thong.
But this celebration, there's kind of some... It was difficult to find specifically when this started, but it seems to have been about 800 years ago. And after a period of time, it kind of fell away into obscurity. And then King Rama III brought it back, as well as a bunch of other festivals around Thailand in the 1800s. And now it's one of the main festivals celebrated throughout Thailand. So it's celebrated, like, for instance, Bangkok. Here's a picture that I took of a canal in Bangkok, where it was celebrated. So the krathongs, right now, they're really trying to move towards making krathongs kind of the traditional way or out of bread rather than using styrofoam, for obvious reasons. Like, this has been kind of a big deal in the news of like how many krathongs have clogged up waterways. However, when I went down to take these pictures, I actually did not loy my own krathong this year because I was still learning. I am still but a noob at loying a krathong, and I didn't feel like getting in line with everybody to loy my krathong. What was interesting is on this canal, you would loy your krathong, and then it would travel about 200 meters and then get picked up by several people grabbing the krathongs out of the water. So they have some of the pollution and stuff under control, just getting that back out. This It's definitely a big deal. Like, there's parades that are involved with this. There's even its own Loy Krathong song, which I will, since we're not monetized, I'll put it in right here, and you guys can just hear it after the show. It's a rather interesting tune.
Are you gonna just have it entire translated?
No, I'm gonna have it in Thai because that's what it is. I don't even know if there is a translated version of the song. But it pretty much goes like Loy Krathong, Loy Krathong, and then a bunch of like Thai words that I at least didn't know the last time I heard that song, so I don't recognize it in my memory.
So almost like our famous Red Mage song.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the thing though is they actually have there's a Loy Krathong song and there's actually a Songkran song. So for like the two biggest festivals out of the year, they have their own songs. Like in the US we have Christmas music, but we don't really have a Christmas like a one song that it's like this is the Christmas song. Like there's Jingle Bells. There's the Night Santa Went Crazy. But
Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. Are you serious?
Mama kissing Santa Claus.
That is the most American song. Is Grandma got ran over by a reindeer?
It's not like the one like this is the Christmas song. Whereas,
true, but it's also this. It's if you can't really use Christmas as an example because Christmas is an international holiday.
Okay,
you have to go an
fine.
American holiday.
Thanksgiving. Do we have a Thanksgiving song in the U.S.?
Yes, there is, and the U.S. press secretary leads children in song every year right before the president pardons the turkey. And if you don't believe me, watch episode.
No,
of
I
The
remember
West Wing.
I remember the pardoning of the turkey. I don't remember what the U.S. Thanksgiving song is, though.
That's fine.
So,
I will look it up and I will.
But the fact that none of us actually can sing that song right now shows that is not as prevalent in the U.S. as this Loy Krathong song is in Thailand.
There is one U.S. holiday that has its own song.
Halloween?
4th of July?
4th of July.
Yeah, it kind of has a bunch,
the
actually.
National anthem. Happens
And
before every fireworks
to be
show.
an American.
Well, I mean, that one's...
Yeah, there's that. But, yeah, I mean, it's still, there's some debate over it. Like, there's no debate in
there's
Thailand.
Really not
like,
one.
if you say, like, what is the Loy Krathong song? Like, everybody...
Show me an event in the United States that is hosted on the 4th of July by a government or municipality that does not start their event with the national anthem on the 4th of July.
But the national anthem we start baseball games with the national anthem too.
Yeah. I mean, in
like
Thailand,
US,
they do the national anthem twice a day. If you're in parks or on the BTS or something. Somehow I always miss it. But yeah, it's...
I didn't know that.
So, I mean, I don't...
Well, I'm just thinking as a culture, we have like Thanksgiving and 4th of July, but those events are more about national pride, not necessarily culture.
Yeah, not
on
tradition.
some level.
But I mean,
Thanksgiving kind of, but there's also not really. I mean, there is that one Thanksgiving song that none of us can hum right now, but
it's
we're all
from the West Wing
people.
episode Shibboleth.
Shibboleth. Okay.
Wait, really?
And
That's
not being able to
hilarious.
pronounce that word is actually part of the episode. Shibboleth.
Shibboleth.
It is a code word that the Israelis used to prevent non-believers from entering Jerusalem in the early centuries.
That's our Thanksgiving song.
No, but it's
Oh, thank
that
God. I was
episode
like,
of the West Wing. That episode of the West Wing is called Shibboleth, and that'll explain the whole.
Okay, that makes a lot more. I was like, good God, no wonder it's not a popular song. Son of a bitch. little casual racism. What to be thankful for. You know how it is. It's hilarious.
But yeah, Loy Krathong's pretty fun. It's got bright colors, as you can see, food, because you have to have food at all holidays. It's got
Thanksgiving.
Loying. If you're in Chiang Mai, it also coincides with Yi Peng, which is the Lantern Festival. And those are called, I want to say,
Panties.
Calm Loy.
Panties.
So, Panties. Oh my god.
Every word is going to have a th in it now.
And so those are the things that you release into the air and then cause all sorts of insanity in the air. Go to Chiang Mai sometime, or you can Google or YouTube videos on Yi Peng, YIPENG, insanity that happens there. It's a good time.
So how many structure fires are caused by these lanterns?
At least one.
Not zero.
It's
That's
not.
how you know
it's
it's a
not
party.
zero, but I haven't actually heard of a building burning down because of it. It's more of an issue with air traffic. So
I can see that.
what happens is there's like a few scheduled events that are actually, endorsed by everyone as far as Yiping. And then what happens is, there are vendors that sell the lanterns after those events. And then that's when, stuff starts getting a little
They're
bit
equivalent
chaotic.
to fireworks here.
Exactly. So, the 2 weeks before and the 2 weeks after 4th of July, it's everyone's favorite game was that fireworks or gunshots. And when you work in the hood like I do, it's a valid game.
Yeah. Apparently it's a valid game here now, too.
Oh, God.
In Gaddis? Wow.
Too. We'll talk offline
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's not fun news. That's not what we're here for.
No.
let's talk about a confused building, maybe.
But, yeah, we're not here for sad news, but God damn it, we're here to talk about architecture and buildings because fuck yeah, right?
Yeah, I
High
like
five, bro.
architecture.
Thank you. That's from what's that game? Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
I love that. Love that game. So, let me get to where I need to get set up. Blah, blah, blah. Coming over here. So there are some pretty cool, unique buildings in the world. You have, like, the Sydney Opera House, the Burj Khalifa, the Pentagon. But honestly, those are kind of boring when you really think about it. I mean, sure, they have cool, unique architecture and world significance and all that bullshit. But honestly, meh, who cares? I mean, come on. They all have windows, for God's sakes. That's just so fucking boring as shit. So, I want to tell you guys about a truly interesting building that I discovered in my little research. So we come over here.
Oh, is this the one in New York?
The
Might
NSA
be.
listening post.
You are correct. That is the Long Lines building in New York City, which is known today as 33 Thomas Street. Built in 1974 by John Carl Wernicke, it is 550 feet tall, so it is a bona fide skyscraper in the middle of New York City. But if you take a closer look at it, if I can do that, what is unique about this particular building as a skyscraper?
It's MIB headquarters.
It may as well be.
That's the actual
Obvious
building that
ventilation.
MIB styled itself after.
This building actually, in a lot of games where there's some sort of conspiracy aspect or movies, this is the building where it happens. So it's kind of funny. But obviously, the big thing is that there are no windows in this building compared to these
And
other skyscrapers in the background.
Only
And
Linux?
And
Ah.
so much ventilation at the top.
it's only ventilation. And Cody, you fucking nerd, you stole my joke. I was gonna say, just like Linux and Apple, there are no windows here. But fuck you. So we're just gonna move on from there. But it actually kind of makes sense as to why it's built this way, because the building was not designed for people. It was actually built for equipment specifically.
So much equipment.
So much equipment. AT&T actually owns the building, and it was built with the purpose of being a central hub for phone lines in NYC. Specifically for international communication is kind of its big thing. But also domestic communication, it's just easier back then. But it was also designed to be an impenetrable fortress that protects vital communication equipment during a nuclear attack. The building can resist nuclear fallout and can be made to be self-sufficient for 1,500 people for 2 weeks and can hold 250,000 gallons of fuel for their generators. So in the event of a nuclear disaster, this is the building you want to go to.
The population of New York City, which is in excess of several million people,
1,500
1,500 can live in that building.
Exactly, and only if they have the correct clearance.
So are you saying that this is
they're going to have to have the little badge?
What vault number is this?
Yeah, no shit. It's Vault 33 is what I would call it.
Yeah,
So now-
8.419
Wait.
million people. Just fuck them.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
33,
At
is
least we
that
get
the one with the virtual reality?
Is it?
Oh
There's a whole list.
my god!
I've never actually thought about going over the list. I'll have to do that one day.
All right. I will look that up while
Look it up.
you are going over that.
So now
Yeah.
with the Cold War being over and the threat of nuclear annihilation only being like, number 10 on the list of horrible things that could happen to us soon? It's kind of seen as a relic of the past. But according to The Intercept article, the NSA actually may have found a use for it. The article states that 33 Thomas Street is the main site for a project called Titan Point, with an E at the end, all one word.
Vault 112. That's the Tranquility Lane simulation.
Oh, shit, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Could
I
be
don't
in
know
here
if
for all
there
we know.
I don't know if there is a Vault 33. There's a Vault 34. There's a mod
there's-
that adds a Vault 33 to New Vegas, which will allow you to be your home, ironically. So
Oh, that's lame. So it's not
Yeah.
It's not a fun vault.
One-
Yeah, so
112.
Project
That's what that is.
hilarious.
yeah, I think
So
Vault
project
34 is
called-
the one with all the guns in it.
There might be guns in here. There probably is, honestly.
Yeah, Vault 34 is the one where you get the All-American, the rifle in New Vegas. Anyway,
Nice.
pro tip. For a,
Pro tip.
for a 10-year-old
Kinda-
game. Pro tip.
Speaking of nerds
12-year-old,
again, it's
actually.
kind of silly how this. I've always thought it's weird when you look at like secret government projects, how they're called these cool names like Titan Point or Raging Fire or some silly thing like that, and it's always just a bunch of nerds that are spying on people. But that's just hilarious to me. So as I said earlier, inside a building there's a major gateway switch for international communication, and the article provides some evidence that the NSA uses this for its surveillance operations. Not hard proof, but you do need special clearance and an FBI escort to even enter the building. So it's obviously something, whatever it is.
Despite it being owned by AT&T. Interesting.
Well, it's apparently it's public knowledge that AT&T works with they work with the NSA, just straight up. Same with Verizon and all the other ones. It's just
Well, yeah, it's a communication company.
it's number 30 on the things that will probably kill us one day in some way. But one quick thing that I thought was interesting when I was researching this is that 33 Thomas Street was built in what is known as brutalist architecture, which is like the most metal-sounding architecture I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal, bro. Architecture is characterized by minimalist design, large concrete volumes, which is the weird, like, tabs on the side there of the concrete, and the philosophy that form should follow function. So there's actually a lot of government buildings that do this, and kind of like the architect is trying to build more of a monolith instead of a building. It's actually
Yeah, it's basically meant to make people feel small, insignificant. Yeah.
and a fortress.
The
literally.
Pentagon.
If you play
Exactly.
Star Citizen,
But
the
there's windows
Hurston Dynamics building in Lorville is built in brutalist
Yes.
architecture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of I found a fun little website, architecture.com with a K, and they're like, Cody, I figured you might be interested in this. There's like all these different forms of architecture
Where
that
is
you can
the K?
research and find out where the C should be.
A-R-K?
Yeah, it's silly, but
Tecture? Is it the beginning C or the
First
end
one,
C?
arc.
Okay.
the first C. Or I don't remember. Or it's in the middle. You'll find it. Google it. We're pretty smart. But so yeah, pretty interesting shit. There's
So
another
this
example.
building is across the street from the Colorado Convention Center, and it serves a very, very similar function. It is the third major hub in the United States, and it's no windows.
Just
Yeah.
a
When-
monolith in the middle of a city.
Yeah,
You are tiny and insignificant.
exactly.
If you want to talk to grandma, you have to go through this building.
And what's kind of interesting about the whole concept of the building is that when the convention that did the internet connections for what's the quantum computing and network groups came to Denver, they had the fastest intranet in the world for the duration of the conference, and their ups and downs were in the terabits per second. Several, like 3.4 terabits per second.
It's interesting that it's
Yes,
that way,
please.
considering how difficult it is to get a good internet connection for Brandon, who only lives, a couple hundred miles away.
Well, he's on the wrong side of a mountain pass, and they like to cut the
Just
the
join
line.
the NSA. You'll totally be able to have that
they
access
do
all
like
the
to cut.
time.
Just need to go dig up some of the dark fiber over Cottonwood.
Dark fiber.
Yeah, no shit.
No, there is. They'd lay
yeah,
that's a-
264 counts or something like that.
It's there. Fucking. God damn it. I hate internet sometimes. But
We're
what
gonna
I don't
put this
hate.
over here, but then we're not gonna actually use it for any of our stuff.
Just typical shit.
What
Kinda like
don't
the
we
French.
hate, Colton?
I would say actually.
Yes, we hate the French.
We do hate the French here, but only jokingly. They hate us too. It's
Yeah.
it's all about love, bro.
It is.
French kissing and all that.
Yeah.
Take some
and,
freedom fries and some freedom kisses.
yeah,
God
French
damn
fries
it,
are
we
from
we lost
Belgium.
our mind that year.
They were named in France,
Yeah.
but they're from
They were.
Belgium. But on the list of things that France is kind of on the edge of developing is, and I want to preface this with, this is part of a much larger discussion that I know is in the works for this group. Maybe not the next discussion episode, but maybe the right to repair, and a major piece of that is being developed in France, and it's in the middle of its implementation. It is in full effect. However, the teeth associated with this rollout doesn't come into effect for another a month and 8 days, but who's counting? So, first things first, the French are developing or have implemented, and I intentionally put this in French so you can't read it over my shoulder, but this is the right to repair score, basically. So it's a scoring index of the repairability of an object. And it specifically is governing over 5 different types of objects. So you have smartphones, you have laptops, you have televisions, you have washing machines, and you have lawnmowers. Those are the 5 categories that are covered under this guideline. The index is a 5-section, as you can see over my shoulder, 5 sections, totaling a total of 20 points each. And the score out of 100 is reduced by a factor of 10, so removing the ones place, and rounded to the nearest decimal. So the 5 indexes are documentation. So this is basically the availability of documentation to the user for the purposes of repair. So this is schematics, this is how-to guides, and that is scored out of 20. So the actual individual item actually is out of 10, and it has a weighting of 2, so you double whatever score you get, and then that adds up to 20 points into the category. The second criterion is the ease of disassembly of parts, the necessity of tools, and fastener characteristics parts from list 1 and list 2. So basically, if it's easy to take apart, You do not need any tools, and the fasteners are not brittle or prone to breakage and replacement. You're a perfect 10 across the board, and you have 10 points weighted at 1. You have 10 points weighted at 0.5, and you have this is actually an old one.
Okay.
It is currently, or actually this section above us. So it's 2 sections weighted at 0.5. So, 10 points gets you 5 in the total score. It's very French, by the way. It's very French. So perfect score gets you 20 points. And we go on to criterion 3, which is the availability of spare parts. So the first one is the availability over time parts from list 2, the availability over time parts from list 1, and those are weighted as 1 and 2, or 1 and 0.5 respectively, and then delivery time parts from list 2, and then delivery time parts from list 1. So that's weighted as 0.3 and 0.2. So you get a total of up to 20 points, and we're moving on to criterion 4.
Try and hold my question till the end.
Yep. Criterion 4, which is the price of the spare parts. So the ratio between price of the parts from list 1 to the list price of the product, and that is up to 10 points, weighted at 2. So a perfect score of 10 gets you 20 points. And then the final is the specific criterion related to the device. So information about types of updates, free remote assistance, and the possibility to reset softwares. So that is weighted at 1, weighted at 0.5, weighted at 0.5 for a total of 20 points. So you get 87.3 points, and your index score is 8.7. That score must be placed proximal to the price tag in the store and anywhere you can buy it online in the entirety of the EU.
So the one thing that I see that this is missing is the availability for third parties to produce the parts. If third parties can produce replacement parts for your product or not.
I agree that this does not take that into account. However, the availability of technical documentation, a high score would note that a third party should theoretically be able to create the product or at least replacement parts.
Yeah, that is a very good point.
You still want to keep it somewhat simplified in this case.
And
so I understand why they didn't make it a specific thing.
And they didn't specifically call out availability of parts from manufacturer. They just said availability of parts.
Right.
So if you already have third-party parts out there,
so here
that would
is
make it
where
pretty highly available.
Here's what some of the problems are. Okay, first things first. Who calculates this score? The manufacturer. They compute the index by entering all the parameters into a spreadsheet provided by the Ministry of Environment, which includes the different categories and possible answers. So it's like get close. It's a drop down that will round some answers, so you might get a little bit of artificial inflation and some artificial deflation. Sellers are obligated to display the index near the point of sale and should ask the manufacturer for the index to make it available to the consumer. The manufacturer is obligated to make the index available to anyone who requests it. The index should be displayed near the product in shops, online, next to prices of products using the following logo. And it's basically 3/4 of a gear with a wrench going towards it. It's very Steam-esque. But a red score would get you less than 1, basically, out of 10. Orange is about 2.5. A yellow is about 5. Green is about 6 or 7. And a dark green is above 9. The manufacturer is free to find additional ways of indexing or displaying the index, such as placing the index on the product package or adding a QR code link for more information. The scores are different on the different criteria of the. Are the scores on different criteria of the index available? Because that last category is item specific. Because the information you're going to display for lawnmowers is categorically different than it is going to be for smartphones. I don't have any clarification on whether washing machines considers a dryer as a washing machine or not. or whether it's rudimentary and much more simple to repair, I would assume. But, the French Market Surveillance Authorities, or MSA, are responsible for checking whether the products comply with the necessary regulations. There are concerns that the MSA may not have the resources to check this extensively. Consumers, consumer protection agencies, and environmental organizations could set up a collaborative effort to verify the index, but this requires resources and parameters of the calculation that are not public. So, the interesting parts about this is this coincides with France's push for removing planned obsolescence, the upgrading of parts to make OSs outdated, etc., moving towards a unified power cord. Something ludicrous keeps on popping
forcing
in my
Apple
newsfeed.
Yeah,
Right.
to use USB-C.
a lot of this stuff is the same with data privacy. The EU is taking the lead on this kind of this more modern shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
because
I'm glad
EU,
it's probably how we're going to do it if we end up doing it here,
and
here
honestly,
in the States.
I feel like the EU has the right balance of capitalism and not capitalism, because they have enough agency to say, no, fuck you, big tech. No, we're sick of your shit. Whereas,
Well, yeah,
the
I can't
American
wait to
politics
hear-
are all in their pocket.
Yeah, I'll save a little bit of my rant, but I can't wait to hear the big companies saying it's too expensive for us to do this or blah blah blah. When
Right.
like for most products, what's that called? What's that where you have to say every single product or every single ingredient in a food product and every single ingredient in any product for that matter? What's that sheet called? It starts with an M.
MSDS.
MSDS file. So it can be done. It just yeah.
It's required,
Yeah,
but
that-
who it's required
I-
to be displayed to.
Should definitely be our next topic because
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
a whole other
Yeah,
like,
it's
13
interesting.
different ways we can look at this. So,
basically,
definitely.
this index score is displayed very similarly to the way that calories have to be displayed in the United States next to food items in all restaurants and fast food locations, is you have to have some semblance of what the calorie intake is next to when you're ordering, so you can say, "Oh, wow, taco salad's 3,000 calories." That it said salad.
A burger.
So I assumed it was
That
healthy.
bean burrito is better for you. Based on
so-
calories.
Also said
Something
taco.
ludicrous, and I'm specifically staying out of the news from this week, where Apple's right to repair stuff is really coming forward, and I'm going to stay away from Surface and Microsoft's pledge to right to repair transparency, even in the United States.
Yeah, we can.
But that's
Save
part of the
it.
bigger discussion. What I want to talk about for a brief second is, oh no, it's gone. No, it's out of my brain. Hold on a second. I'm having a
That happens.
transient
That's-
ischemic attack.
Brandon's special powers.
I actually got a service alert from Apple about my iPhone 12 because a very small percentage of the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro have a receiver issue, a defect, and it's making it so when you call or make calls or receive calls that nothing comes out of the headphone. And you'll notice that I'm wearing Beats headphones because I was getting sick and tired of trying to hold my phone in such a way to hear it because it is noticeably quiet, and I would assume that I had fucked up the speaker somehow. But I will actually be getting this serviced, and right now, the target link on how to get it fixed targets only Apple stores or Apple authorized retailers, and I cannot wait for the day that my buddy Alan, who owns his own phone repair business, to just be able to say, "Yep, 2 weeks," and "Oh, the part's in, cool, 5 minutes," and then here you go. Yeah, I can't wait.
That will be a start to a better world.
Yep.
Yeah,
glorious
Oh,
future.
Something we can do now.
I
we just
remembered
don't
what I was having a
choose
stroke
to.
about. The eBay selling of a iPhone with a USB-C connector, $85,000. I've seen that news story pop up on my phone no less than 11 times in the last 2 weeks, and some numbskull bought the first iPhone that they found on eBay with a USB-C connector. And I don't know if it's a prototype or whether it's a demo device that got out of the right hands, like it was stolen, because I'm sure there's a non-disclosure agreement for anyone walking around with one of those right now. But I look very much forward to the death of the Lightning connector. The Apple proprietary connector is cool. It works great. I just want to be able to use any connector and I need a charging cord. Well, I've got Apple. I need a USB-C. Or I need
Yeah.
USB.
Yeah,
That's always fun.
shit
The
like that is-
conversations to have.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to our conversation on right to repair now. So this is exciting.
And so, along with that, one of the things you were talking about proprietary ports. So this is my Surface Go 2.
Yeah.
It has the right there is
Yep.
the little Surface
Our
distinct charge connector.
Yep.
But
got
the
one of
thing
those
I
too.
like about this, it has USB-C right here.
Power as well?
Can charge USB-C right on it. And the direct proprietary connector basically gives you what is that, one express lane out? One PCI express lane?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't recall.
Because that's how their proprietary dock works.
Yep.
And
So
I'm
all of
okay
the
with
docks
their
that we
being
have at work
proprietary.
are a little box with a Surface connector. So I can take my work computer home with me and do work computer stuff. And then I plug right back in and I'm on the network in the DNS and I have 3 monitors
Yep.
and everything's happy.
What's that YouTuber, the guy who owns his own repair store in
Louis
New York?
Rossmann.
Mark Rober.
Yeah, thank you. That was driving me crazy.
Yeah, I already have a video in mind for our what do you call it? Our discussion that he did a whole thing on this Apple thing. So
Now,
there's
the
so many
thing-
ways we can go.
The thing that I don't look forward to is USB-C is the in right now. And we're moving towards a ubiquitous, everyone's got it. But what is the process going to be for adoption of the next cord?
Yeah.
Are they going to have to apply and some governing body's like, yeah, we'll go with that one. And then in 1 year and 5 days, we're switching to that. And every device made from that point forward has to be that cord. And everyone has to get free charging cords. And there has to be adapters for all the phones. Like, where does it stop? This is where the right to repair meets government overreach. And I'm specifically
Yeah.
pointing at you right here for that.
No, that is an interesting issue. Because you get to the point where if somebody has something that is physically better than USB-C,
Right.
and the
How
way
much
that
better does it need to
technology
be?
develops, and that's the issue with the physical
Well, yeah, and
part of.
that's always the
things.
problem with government in general, and we're kind of going into a discussion a little bit, but that's always
Yeah.
the problem with government. They're slow to react, especially technology. They're incredibly slow to react, but they also don't think farther than 10 years down the road and on this type of thing, and even then they don't at all sometimes. So it will be an interesting.
It'll be an interesting discussion. Go ahead, Brandon.
Here's my hypothesis. I don't know that after USB-C that there will need to be a physical port.
That is a
Wireless
theory.
charging.
So you're going
I
with the Bill
think-
Gates 10 megs of memory argument.
I mean, there will always be a need for some sort of port somewhere. I'm not saying
if
that
wireless
that will just
charging,
totally
if wireless
go away.
charging became the standard, then that would be a lot easier to, I guess, what's the term?
Yeah. I think at this
Future-proof.
point we're starting to budge
Yeah, we'll need to-
ourselves into that discussion episode. So let's.
So exciting.
I'm sorry. Let's. I'm gonna
It will
And
be our next
I will say
discussion.
this.
round up this.
If there's no ports, then your IPO rating goes astronomically higher.
IP,
I-
not IPO.
Oh yeah, you're right. IP. Sorry. Wrong
That's
acronym.
something
My
else.
bad. Initial public offering. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, really? That sounds like, we should go
we're gonna
portless.
make some
I
money
wa-
off of this.
I want to go public on whatever the fuck this shit is.
All right, Brandon, tell us about horsepower and how
Steel
it was
horses.
developed to actually like get rid of people using horses for power.
Yeah, no, that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is Motorcycles.
Oh, I
I
like that
the way you
reveal.
had that hidden this entire time.
Yeah,
Nicely
yeah,
done.
that's
Right?
brilliant.
Nicely done.
Just like
Brilliant, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to make it a standard to do stuff like that.
so. Yeah, I originally, when I found the article I was looking at and got all excited and titillated about, it was actually about electric bicycles or e-bikes. I didn't realize Harley Davidson spun off a little arm to do, what the heck is it called? How did I lose it already? There it is. Serial 1, powered by Harley Davidson. And these look like nice enough bikes, but I'm not a bike person. Here we go. So
Okay.
that's the
It would have
Heritage
white
model.
tires. Of course it does.
Oh yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that's their special edition. To be fair,
Oh no,
that's
that's
the special
exactly
edition
why
version.
It is. It's in a
Oh, yeah.
fancy leather-looking seat. It's actually pretty. I like it. Fuck it.
It's very pretty. It's almost reminiscent of the first motorcycles.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think this
And
is
this
the
is-
point where we get the what is it? The people with the beards and the glasses and the flannel shirts that can't cut down trees and motorcycle
Hipsters.
riders. Yeah, we get hipsters
Lumbersexual hipsters.
and motorcycle riders in the same places.
It'll be leather
This
plaid.
this is how we do that. This is
Leather
where it's
plaid.
going.
Again, because they
leather
eat
plaid.
cows.
It'll be a man bun and a giant biker beard.
They already have that. They'll just
I
have
know they do.
ironic mustaches.
That's better put it. You're right. It'll be fancy
Oh my god.
artisan
This is
art.
this
Like
has got to be a
artisanal.
thing.
It hurts me.
Okay.
But anyway, so I was reading an article about the supposedly hysterical e-bike video satire of cycling culture. It's a 8.5 long minute ad from this Serial One company about this guy who takes cycling way too seriously, but it's an e-bike. And so he's talking about like heart rate and like getting in the pain cave. And this e-bike guru is like, dude, it's an e-bike. It's meant to enjoy the ride, not like work out on,
Not get into the pain
basically.
cave.
So in other words, we're gonna have
Yeah.
a bunch of fat bicyclists.
I mean,
One step closer to Wally.
see, okay.
There's
So
some
there
cool
was
shit
this
you can do with
whole
e-bikes.
thing. There was this whole thing underneath this article that I was reading that was just like the wallering filth of comments, and you had like the true cyclist people that this ad is kind of almost targeted at, of just like, let's all share the road. But all of these cyclists are just like, it's not cycling, it's got a motor, it's not working out, it's not, and it's like,
It's probably not
okay,
for you. then.
everyone
And
has
that's the
their
problem
own
with the-
thing.
Right.
better
Yeah.
than a car. so
And
you
Exactly.
that's the problem with the article is targeted towards the wrong people, or it's brilliantly targeted towards the right people, because that's how news works this day. Is like
Yep.
article that makes
cause
people
chaos.
emotionally angry, and then rage and comments, and
But it's not an
basically we're
article,
just
it's an
gonna
ad.
bring
We're
society
talking about
down.
it.
So the question is,
Yeah.
Cody, do you feel targeted?
Not by this, no.
A little bit.
Okay.
By the Kotaku Star Citizen, thing, yes, but by this, no.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned it. Star Citizen just broke 400 million today.
Yep.
Oh
The-
yeah. Oh yeah.
2 days ago.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The news article hit today.
Yeah, the
I
point
did
is,
add
it's
just a little bit of money. I did buy one new thing after I said I wasn't gonna buy a new thing, but it was a little
Here's
thing.
my surprised face.
It's a little
Wait,
thing.
I don't
and it
see
can only
you're
be carried
surprised.
by a fucking...
It only has 2 zeros in the
Mercury.
price versus 3.
No,
it's single.
It
It's
was
single.
less than
It's
100.
2 digits.
It was less
It's
than
2
100.
digits. Yeah.
$99.99.
And I had
I have no idea what
$30
it
in
is.
store credits, so
Yeah.
it was like 50
I
bucks.
just want it to
and I
run
got a
smoothly
paint.
without crashing. That's all I want. Okay,
Yeah.
back speaking
to-
of run smoothly without crashing, let's talk about bikes.
Yeah, so the comment section is kind of what then pulled me down a further rabbit hole of just like of people being really upset at these e-bikes. And I actually ended up talking to one of my coworkers today who is a cyclist who absolutely hates e-bikes. And it's like, why?
Yeah, I'm
It's like, because
curious.
it's not real biking.
It's
And it's like,
it's the concept of a
But
small
then
town
don't
like
get
Crested
a-
Butte versus like Denver or Tucson or a major metropolitan area.
Yeah,
where,
or like Singapore,
like,
or
you
yeah,
don't,
like
you're not biking in the middle of a major fucking avenue. You're trying to get somewhere. You're not working out because that's incredibly dangerous. So you want to get there fast and relatively safely with the speed of traffic. It's not
I have
targeted. People are
seen
dumb.
some
People are overthinking it.
cool e-bikes here too. Like
oh,
I
yeah,
can
bet you
understand.
have.
Yeah, I can understand like people, who are really into the workout, that are about that thin, and they are.
But their
into,
thighs are like this big and they're like
yeah,
vibrating because they're too muscly and
yeah, exactly.
sperm
that
counts
have
down
a
because they're sitting in a horrible position.
like a body fat of 0.0001%.
Cool,
But
bro.
like
Go for it.
At the same time, like maybe this isn't for you, or isn't more options better? I guess that
Well-
would be my question to your coworker. And
So I brought that up, and he's like, well, yeah, I guess, whatever for whatever. And it's like, okay, here's another takeaway for this. The more bicyclists, motorcyclists, e-skateboarders that are on the road, that are sharing the roadways with cars, the more cars are going to be looking out and paying attention for
The
alternative
more
forms of
cities
That-
build new
transportation.
bike roads, the more
yeah, and that's why
it's just better. It's better
even
for everybody.
Yeah, even with the accidents in Thailand with motorcycles, there's still a certain point where I think I feel like I am given more space on the road here than the US.
Because drivers there are more aware, more situationally and
Yep.
and environmentally aware of what's around them. I rode my motorcycle. The picture I took was yesterday. Because
gotta be
we
cold.
haven't had oh yeah, Luke was on back, and I told him, it's like, you're gonna want to wear a light sweatshirt underneath your jacket. It's a little chilly. It's like, but we need to go out. We need to do one last lap. I need to put some fuel stabilizer in it, get the battery charged up so that it's winterized and ready for the winter. And so we're cruising out, and that was taking up Taylor Canyon. That was about halfway to Harmel's was all we made it before he's sitting there tapping me on my shoulder, freezing his ass off. And it's like, should have worn a jacket underneath your motorcycle gear, huh? So, anyway, but because we haven't had motorcyclists really driving for about the last month, because we had that big winter storm about a month ago where it dumped and we had inches on the ground, and everybody with motorcycles was like, all right, well, I guess it's time to winterize it. So they winterized it, put it up. Mine's been sitting out right out my window right here. That's still where it is because I don't have a garage or anywhere to put it. And it's like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to get one more ride in. My original thought was I was going to ride to opening day of the ski resort because that is how shitty snow is here right now. The only snow on the mountain is what we've been making.
Yep. Denver,
number 3 on the
Denver
doomsday
today, actually,
list.
Yep.
because
Actually, no.
climate change is not real. Denver today broke
Totally
a
not real.
record last set from the Dust Bowl of the first Colorado snow, or Denver snow, which has not happened yet. So we are still actively breaking the record. Yeah, I'll let you know when it snows in Denver, and that'll be the new record. But don't worry,
damn it.
climate
Worst,
change is
darkest
not real.
timeline.
It's fine.
Yep.
We need electric bikes. We need
Anyway.
them so bad.
So, on that little trip, because we haven't had much motorcyclist traffic, I was nearly hit twice. And I'm talking nearly hit in that I locked up the back wheel one of those times to avoid getting hit in an intersection. So yeah, to me, more two-wheeled vehicles, more alternative forms of transportation, including skateboards and scooters and whatever.
Small things
only
that
a
people
good
have
thing.
to look out for. Yeah.
Yep. But that then led me down the road of, well, I wonder how fast that goes. I wonder how much range that has. So this particular model behind me, max assistance speed, because these are all assisted. As far as I know, they don't have direct throttles on them. So you can't just
You pedal to
scoot
get going.
down. You pedal,
okay.
and it just makes it easier and gives you an
Cruise
assist.
control is all they're there for,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
awesome.
basically. So this one has a max assisted speed of 20 miles an hour. It uses a 66 foot-pound of torque, or 90 newton meters, motor on it. So that's pretty darn good considering.
I'm sorry. Translate that to freedom units, please.
I said it. 66 foot-pounds of
Foot-pounds.
torque.
No.
That is-
Look,
yeah.
horsepower.
Oh, God. 90 newton
Google.
meters
You
to...
alluded to it. You didn't have this ready? God
No.
damn it, Brandon.
I just...
You goddamn rookie Wookie.
It's- yeah, it converts newton meters to foot-pounds of
Then you got to
torque.
do the second conversion.
No
pressure,
We're,
though.
we're here.
What's
we're
the-
here
what's
to
the
learn
end of
about
it?
this,
We're
not to do
fine.
math. This is not a
Yeah.
math.
90
It is a
foot-pounds?
math thing.
Lightly-
I learned something this
Lightly
week.
researched.
90 foot-pounds?
66 foot-pounds.
Okay, I gotcha.
Okay.
So, while he's looking that up, it's kind of a random. It's kind of funny that you went down a rabbit hole about this kind of thing, because I went down a rabbit hole about bicycle drivetrains actually the other day. Because you have the traditional chain, and there's all that technology behind it. But there's new technology out there, like direct hard crankshaft and gear, like a pin and gear thing. It's kind of the new thing.
That behind me is actually belt driven.
Yeah,
That
so
is
that's
not a
belt,
chain,
and that's
that's a
another one.
belt.
It's a belt, which is considered better. It's way more expensive, but it's better as long as you're not going through dirty areas and sandy areas that can really tear it up.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do oil it and shit like that either. So for like wet stuff, it's
Right.
great. It keeps better traction and everything. Like I said, then you have the completely enclosed system that's more like a car drivetrain. That's
Or
coming out, too.
motorcycle. Some of the motorcycles.
Yeah, I was gonna
actually
say,
use direct
my-
drive.
Yeah, it's
My 1980 Honda Goldwing uses a shaft drive.
yeah, it's just fascinating.
and
All this
it's-
technology on these two-wheeled bikes, and they're worth like $20,000-$30,000 now. At least these first prototypes. It's interesting.
And
Worth more
it's
than my
3.3 horsepower, by the way.
boom. That's a lot, actually.
That's
more than I
that
thought
is
it
a
was gonna
lot
be.
for a bike. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Considering
So-
a Kubota tractor is like 5 or 15.
More efficient engines.
Yeah. So 66 foot-pounds of torque. It has a 529 watt-hour removable battery. Integrated head and tail lights. And then it is supposed to be able to do... Let me go back to it. Battery system. All right. So its range highly dependent on mode and terrain. Minimum of 35 miles with a maximum of 105 miles.
Wait, a
Hell yeah.
minimum? What does that mean? Does that mean that when you go out on this bike, you have to do
No,
35
no.
miles?
No, what's the minimum range?
No,
A full
it's
full
battery
charge will get you at
Oh,
least
Okay.
35 miles,
And that's
Okay.
up to 105 miles.
the 30-ish miles
Is up a
minimal
hill.
pedal assistance if it's doing all of the work.
Okay.
That's an impressive number in itself, honestly.
It's not.
It would get me to work.
There's somebody from Harley that runs behind you, and if you don't do at least
Like,
35
Pointing
miles,
you with a stick is like, go, you fucker. We got a bunch of bicyclists that are pissed off about this. We have to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Cool shit.
Yeah. So then that's cool. It's 48 pounds, which is heavy, but
yeah, battery.
okay.
You're not going to take it in the backcountry necessarily.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Or you
it
could.
has the only suspension on this thing is in the seat. That's not going to be a very
But,
comfortable
I mean,
off-road experience.
what's the weight of your skateboard? So I mean,
Compared to the standard
20 pounds or so.
compared to the standard road bike, it's at 18 pounds. It's kind of heavy.
Yeah, let alone the ultra
Carbon
crazy
fiber.
I'm sure most of that is in fact the
Yeah.
battery. That's
yeah,
that
those
weight.
carbon fiber bikes
battery
can
and motor.
go. Yeah.
Yep, my coworker has one of those. But that then led me down another one of, okay, well, what electric motorcycle does Harley currently offer? Of which there is only one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
There should be more, but there's only one.
And, well, it's pretty in its way.
Belt driven.
It is, yeah, belt driven.
It's very
It's not
Buell
something
Blast-esque.
I could exactly. It's very super bike, sport bike kind of thing, and it's nothing.
It
It's
reminds
something
me of
that
the
I would
Buell.
ride, but not something. you
Nothing
would
that
ride.
gets me.
Yeah, I would probably ride that.
I'd
It
ride
looks
the
a
shit out
little
of that.
tall though. Like that's the thing that I'm seeing from it. That
Adjusted, I'm sure.
I
It's actually kind
actually
of short.
don't
for him,
have
probably.
the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in terms of like width of it,
What's
it's
it
probably
called?
not comfortable for a very tall person.
Here we go. Dimensions. Seat height is 30 inches. So from
I like how you wipe
Cover
yourself
here.
away.
to the ground below it is only 30 inches.
And
So-
a Goldwing
Small.
is only 29.
Yep.
But it's all about positioning, obviously, in this case.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Still cool
I
that
mean,
they-
I mean, the Harley had the Buell. That that wasn't really meant for a lot of traditional riders. So, I like to see a company that's willing
I'd drive the shit out of that
to
in the
kind
city.
of push the envelope a little bit rather than going, okay, well, this year our phone's going to be 0.3 inches wider. No, like
No, and I completely agree. They're pushing the boundaries a little bit, and that's great. That's what should happen, because this will excite someone.
some people.
Someone
Yeah,
out
it's
there
like-
is
it's
looking
like
at
your
it
more
and
into
going,
this
coworker.
style
"Ooh."
bike.
Yeah, your coworker's not excited about e-bikes. You're not excited about this, but the prospect of this is a good thing, and I foresee, it's this today. Maybe 5 years from now, it's an electric Road King.
Yeah. Or an electric Goldwing.
The UK is requiring new homes built after 2022 to have EV charging cables built as standard options.
Awesome.
Which
It-
this does take the standard J182 or
Yeah.
whatever the non-Tesla charger is. This takes it. You flip up where the gas cap would normally be. in it goes. My actual biggest complaint about this, because if this was the right price, if I could find one for the right price used, I would totally ride this to work in the summers. It would probably never ever go anywhere else than that because of the range. But I could drive this to and from work in the summer, still use full electric, not burn any gas.
What's it cost new?
It costs new $29,799.
So the
just
cost of a
actually
new Honda
isn't-
Goldwing.
Which isn't
Yep.
actually that bad of a price for a new motorcycle,
prototype,
honestly.
yeah.
So that's actually not as bad as
It's
I thought.
it's still expensive. It's still
It knocks
still,
it up into the next
But-
weight class for expensive.
so
But it's still not out
if
of
we get
out of.
I
the
mean,
price
as a
range of
secondary
people who
vehicle
can afford
for
that.
people. Yeah. I mean, if you're buying it as
There
a
are bikes
primary
that cost
vehicle.
30,000 as it is, so it's.
so this
I'm surprised it's not higher.
this would kind of compete with the Sportster lineup, like styling wise and stuff. The Sportster S, which looks to have all kinds of crazy upgrades and paint schemes, and is 1,500 or sorry 15,000.
Let me go get
I
a
was
few
like,
of those.
Wait, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
get a couple for both feet.
Yeah. No, 15,000. So I mean, you're basically talking double the price for a electric
Yeah.
Harley. And so the other thing about it is it only has so it lists its range as a city range, because if you know
Yeah, city
if you know
ranges are
about,
longer for electric vehicles.
regeneration. Exactly.
And also, that style of bike is built for a city, not long range. So it makes sense they do city wise.
Yep.
Quick trips around the block to see your honey across town or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Shut up. I don't fucking know. I'm not cool. I don't know what the kids are talking about. Poggers,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh,
Is it a sex thing?
Don't.
I know it's
I
not.
don't
Okay,
know.
what is the
I
city
just
range?
Don't. City range is 146 miles,
Okay.
which
That's great.
is pretty dang good. And then there's another figure called range combined stop and go. And I'm thinking that is freeway with some city driving, because it drops down to 95 miles at that point. Which, I mean,
It'll
that
get you,
that
if you're
would
going
still
to work, it'll get you to work every day. If you're
Yeah,
traveling
if you
more
lived
than
in
100
Seoul-
miles for
Yeah.
if you're traveling more than 100 miles a day to go to work, you may want to try to live closer if you can do it, if you have the ability.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't do road trips. If you lived in Soldotna, you couldn't make it to Anchorage like that.
I would just barely make it to Montrose on that.
Yeah.
And then have to charge in Montrose. And now here's kind of the clincher for it. So it has onboard charging. So you can basically you can pull out a cable and hook it up to 110 and just directly charge off the 110. Which is great. That's fantastic to have that as an option. Charging for that is listed as overnight.
Okay. Which is standard for a 110.
Yeah. It does not have level 2 charging ability.
Yet.
It has level 3 DC fast charge, which again, that's great, but there's a lot of level 2 chargers that if it could use that. So like on my car, the difference between a level 1 charger, which is your 110 plug-in, versus level 2. So with a totally dead battery, which I have a 17 kilowatt hour battery, it would take 19 hours to charge on level 1 charging. Level 2 charging takes that down to 4 hours.
Oh wow. Okay, so you could go to Montrose
But
on a level 2
level
charger.
3,
Yeah, it goes somewhere.
Is even like what, 30 minutes an hour?
I can't
2 hours,
charge
probably.
my car level 3. It does not have DC fast charge. But it
Okay.
would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 20 minutes.
Right. And
Okay.
you know, supposedly with a new cable design, EVs are able to full charge in 5 minutes now. So level 4 is very close.
And plus, every car manufacturer is coming out with EVs now.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
fancy ones too, and arguably better in some ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When
The technology, as we talked about in our discussion episode about this kind of thing, it's now that there's a demand for it / necessity for it, and that the big companies are involved, it's just going to start snowballing all this shit.
when
Yep.
It's awesome.
when
It took just some high profile and
when a full charge takes the same time as a visit to the gas station.
Even 20 minutes is right on the edge of being.
yeah.
It's more than acceptable
Yeah.
for like a long trip.
Right.
I would say 10 minutes. If you can get that down to 10 minutes, you're
If it's
good.
the version of, it depends on how much it costs too. But if it's
So,
saving
two
the
thing-
world versus a few minutes,
Yeah, but
I don't know about saving the world, but you know what I mean. It's is what I'm saying. It's acceptable. It's not
Right.
going to replace it. It's going to be 100 years before we get to the point where it takes 3 minutes to charge this thing. Like
Yeah.
that's good. That's a pipe
And-
dream, but it's all
and
about it being
then-
acceptable, so people will start adopting it, which means it snowballs even more.
yeah, which means
Yeah.
you're going to have the prevalence of electric stations around the world, so you can actually go somewhere and not have to pre-plan your trip and go, wait, is there one near me?
As we
is
said in
there
our
not
discussion,
one near me?
it's going to start. It's going to start in the city, because
Yeah.
95 miles. If it was a car, that's more than acceptable. I could
Oh, yeah.
go all around Tucson. Denver
Yep.
might be a
And-
little bit rough if you're going from one side to the other, but you can still do it. Yeah.
Well,
and
and
some
for your
people don't ever
average-
leave their city, so and then
Yeah.
they may have a second car that's their travel car, or they'll just fly because we'll have electric planes by that point. Who knows?
interesting
Energy
side
density.
note.
All right,
So,
Brandon,
energy
bring us
density.
into this
This is-
quickly, please.
Yeah, sorry. I've been taking too long. So, energy density. This got me thinking about energy density. Because where motorcycles first started was attaching small engines and a small gas tank and some crazy chains and gears, and you're going to shred your leg off in half if you drop the thing on you. But that's kind of where it started. And I see e-bikes kind of as the start to the electric version of this. Is eventually the good e-bike companies are going to keep pushing a little more speed, a little more range, a little better battery technology, because these e-bikes, so like this
Or scooters.
Serial
Scooter
1,
that'll do the scooters that will do like 70 miles an hour. Like there's some crazy scooters out there.
oh yeah. But I think that's where it's going to start. Is it's going to start smaller, because it's going to be these smaller companies that are looking at, okay, well, how can we tweak
Yeah, because
this
you're not gonna
just a
go on a
little bit better?
Yeah, you're not going to go a road trip on your scooter. So
Yeah.
it's acceptable. The range limitation is acceptable when you consider that. The speed limitation is acceptable. So you can be more efficient in that small package because there's an acceptability about it. So,
Right. So, in case anyone's curious, right now Serial 1 bikes are starting at $2,800. And that is $1,000 off because of Black Friday. So normal price is basically $4,000 on these, at least the
Cheaper
Serial
than a car.
1
Which
bikes.
actually still
is
puts
cheaper
it,
than a car.
It still puts it in the realm of a, middle to high end road bike. Really crazy
yeah.
road
Yeah.
bikes are still $10,000. So
yep.
Hell yeah, that's
Yep.
as long as it's competitive. That's all it needs to be. It's competitive for consumers to be interested. So awesome.
Yep.
Love it.
So, two other interesting quick facts. Here I was thinking that I was going to be the shortest one. But Rolls-Royce, not of car manufacturing fame, but of aircraft fame, just made a plane to beat the electric speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Single engine prop speed record.
Yep. 345.4 miles an hour, which breaks the previous record by 132 miles per hour.
It ain't no
So I thought that was
slouch.
pretty cool. No, he's very fast. Very, very fast. It will be interesting to see that technology in the next Red Bull Cup.
Yeah, that's immediately where my mind went with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
By the way, if any of you are interested in rally cross and crazy off-road cars, there is a fully electric circuit, and I cannot remember what it's called. I actually watched one of the races of it, and it was very entertaining. Like all of these
Formula
just
series
crazy.
actually. The Formula series
Yeah,
actually
Formula
has a fully electric
e-racer.
circuit too. So
Yep.
10 years.
And then
It's gonna be exciting.
the first electric cargo container ship is now out as well.
Yep.
It's in Norway. It's 80 meters long. It can carry 120 20-foot containers. Its route
Hell yeah.
is from Porsgrunn to Brevik, Norway, which is about 10 miles. So not a very long route.
But the
But
overland route is almost 190 miles.
And because of that overland route requiring semi-trucks, it's going to stop an estimated 40,000 trips from happening each year.
Hell yeah.
No,
Win in my book.
and that's what's going to be the case with these electric aircraft, with these electric ships. Is it's what it's going to actually be for. It's kind of interesting because you mentioned like the electric bikes are going to start in the city. The electric planes and the electric boats are going to be the opposite. I think that you are going to see an electric aircraft pull into Gunnison before you see an electric aircraft do a route from Denver to Seattle or Denver to LA. The electric
Could see
route
that.
going to Aspen to Gunnison to maybe
Yeah.
maybe Montrose. I don't know. That might even be a little bit too long
within 200 miles of.
Yeah, those are going to be the first electric aircraft routes and the boat routes. So they're going to be necessity, but kind of thin routes is what you would call them.
Tesla semis are now have an official sticker price: 20,000 down payment to reserve one, and 175 or 150,000 for the different range models. With a
That's not bad.
cost savings in diesel fuel alone, paying off the vehicle in 2 years.
Now, does that price include the cost to charge these, or is it assuming zero charge because of Tesla stations?
It is including price of charging.
Damn.
It ain't no
Cool.
bitch.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I was going to
things-
say, that's pretty close in price to a standard, like a good Volvo semi or a good Kenworth semi.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
new. So that's
150,
competitive.
175,000, whereas a new Phase 8 semi is like 115,000. So it is more expensive, but
It's competitive. And that's,
self-driving,
Yeah.
safety features, gas savings. Yeah. You think that a diesel engine's break-in period and length of its engine functionality is great. Wait till the electric motor hits your production line and recommended bearing changes every 250,000 miles. It's
Hell
nuts.
yeah. And with
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to end on.
Yeah.
Some actual
Yep.
positive news at the end of our episode, besides the 30,000 things that are going to kill us. So
Yeah, exactly.
I
it didn't-
contributed.
there's still hope. So
Yep.
All right.
Well, take us home, Brandon. I mean,
Well,
we're already home, but
That's my line.
can't take us home.
I'm stealing everybody's jokes
Take
and
me
lines
home.
today.
Fair enough.
country road.
Hey, did I tell you guys
And
about
there's
the
the
friend of mine that
copyright
only eats plants? I'm sure I've told you about herbivore.
Yes, you have.
Well,
I was
well,
on
my
Discord
name-
when
You
said
did that earlier.
my
Yeah,
name is
you're
Colton
rehashing.
Roper.
You're rehashing.
Trying to end the episode.
That's what happens when I steal your stuff.
Trying
And
to end
and
the
where can we
episode.
find you, Colton?
Thank you, Rand. Colton Roper, go by Seeker4761 and all the social medias, and as well as on twitch.tv/Seeker4761.
That'll be the price
And-
of that bike in 20 years.
I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna be optimistic because that's all I have is hope. But Cody, what about you?
I am Psychonitrous, also known as Striving to Fail, and you can find me on game places, Twitch. Yeah, Twitch is Psychonitrous, Facebook, Striving to Fail, and occasionally on the techpirate.net writing articles. Article, singular at the moment, but yep. Anyway, Mjolnir, where can we find you?
I am Charlie Stiffler, also known as Milnor, spelled wrong, so I always get it right. You can find me here every week. Twitch at Milnor as my username. YouTube, all of that. You'll catch me streaming Halo Infinite, because that is fantastic.
Amazing.
Amazing.
It's pretty good.
Love what they've done with multiplayer. The Warthog feels so fucking fast now. Love it. Yeah, so that's where you can find me. Brandon, take us home.
Go, rookie Wookie.
Oh, I was really hoping you were going to say, where can we find you? Because I was going to say, staring out the window at that beautiful motorcycle, waiting for spring.
What? 8 months in Gunnison?
Yeah. But until then, you can find me drooling over pictures like this, which is the new Banu Merchantman concept. You can find me in Star Citizen, because I am actually going to start playing that regularly.
It's almost playable for
currently-
more than 2 people.
Almost.
I was going to say, I actually spent a decent chunk of my weekend in Star Citizen.
And we might talk more
Yeah.
about that after the show closes.
Yeah. And you can find me on the techpirate.net. You can find me on YouTube as the Tech Pirate. I swear I will start posting stuff more regularly. And yeah. Thanks for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For your social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at this TWIL. If you'd like to send us contact email, you can of course send it to twil@thetechpirate.net. See you all next week.
Bye-bye.
Or hopefully I won't be forced to read a script
Bullshit.
that
No.
I didn't write.
No, I petition that Cody or Colton writes the next one, in fact.
Oh.
Maybe.
And by the way,
Goodbye.
I had the perfect name for Tim. His name was Papa Palpatine.
We're still trying to
Oh.
wave goodbye. That's pretty good. But goodbye.
Goodbye.
วันเพ็ญเดือน12น้ำก็นองเต็มตลิ่งเราทั้งหลายชายหญิงสนุกกันจริงวันลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทง
ลอยกระทงกันแล้วขอเชิญน้องแก้วออกมารำวงวันลอยกระทง
รำวงวันลอยกระทงบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจวันเพ็ญเดือน12น้ำก็นองเต็มตลิ่งเราทั้งหลายชายหญิงสนุกกันจริงวันลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยล จะส่งให้เราสุขใจบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจ12น้ำก็นองเต็มตลิ่งเราทั้งหลายชายหญิงสนุกกันจริงวันลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยกระทงกันแล้วขอเชิญน้องแก้วออกมารำวงวันลอยกระทงรำวงวันลอยกระทงบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจวันเพ็ญเดือน12น้ำก็นองเต็มตลิ่งเราทั้งหลายชายหญิงสนุกกันจริงวันลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยลอยกระทงลอยกระทงกันแล้วขอเชิญน้องแก้วออกมารำวงวันลอยกระทงรำวงวันลอยกระทงบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจบุญจะส่งให้เราสุขใจ
Papa Palpatine.
So
Go for Papa Palpatine.
Star Citizen is.
What's
I would
an
argue
aluminum
that
falcon?
Star
I made
Citizen.
120K. Yeah, the length. I made 120K mining on my rock last night.
What?
Cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait till the next update when they
Damn.
tear all that out and make you redo it.
That,
Right?
Necessary, but
it's actually.
gonna
I mean,
happen.
here's the thing. Every time we start an Arma server, every
Yeah,
freaking
true.
time we start an Arma server or a Minecraft
But this
server
is supposed to be
or a Space
persistent in the
Engineers
universe.
server,
So-
That's the
Yeah,
Wait,
but
wait.
it's still
Okay, so
beta.
choose what you want, Colton. Choose what you want. Do you want it where people can exploit bugs and make infinite money, and then they get to keep all that?
like New World.
Or do you want them to have resets where at least
I
I
want to
now
play-
know where I can mine?
I want to play 5 missions in a row with 4 people and no one have any problems. That's what I want. I don't care about
I would like to,
any of that other shit.
I would like to play for more than
Let's
30
try
minutes
it.
without
I
crashing.
do care about that shit. Don't get me wrong, I do care about that. But yeah, 1 person can play 5 missions. 2 people can. 3 it starts to get a little iffy, and we finished 1 mission with 4 of us in the 11 years this game has been
in development.
out.
But
In
Yeah,
it's
development,
gotten
but-
better.
but
It's
that was
gotten
this weekend.
progressively better.
Right, but I'm saying you're asking what I want. I want to be able to play the damn game.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
That's
fair
what I
enough.
want.
And to pair what he's saying, I want to make money in game, buy a ship in game, and still own it after the next reset.
That will be a big.
No,
So,
that can't
here's-
because it's
yeah.
a reset. That's
But
So,
if I
here's
make
the
enough
thing,
money
you will-
to buy a constellation, I think I fucking deserve to keep that constellation to be part of my
no,
account.
because then if somebody like finds a like a bug where they can make bazillions of money, it's the same thing as keeping the money. Keeping the ship is keeping the money.
Yeah.
Collective punishment.
It's like
Now,
saying if
here-
I rob the
here's the
bank,
thing.
but I turn that into
but
a Mack
all we're
truck, I
saying,
should be
so
able to
you're
keep the
saying
Mack
that's
truck.
no.
So
What he's saying is he wants the persistence of the persistent
Okay,
universe.
fair enough.
That's
fair
what he
enough.
wants.
Which-
That's when the game is
That's when the game's a game and not
a game
test.
and not just a test game.
which they have said there is limited resets right now.
I don't know if I
it's-
trust anything those guys say. Now, I'm not that they're not good at what they're doing. I'm saying the scope has gotten so big. I mean,
Yeah.
the game was supposed to be released 7 years ago, so and I'm not saying there's a
I
scam.
would
It's
rather
not.
it
I'm
be
just
this
saying
way. If I
I
choose between this or a Call of Duty
Nothing.
or Battlefield, I'm taking this every single fucking time because I can play other games while I wait. That's
right. You could play Call of Duty or Battlefield, probably 6 or 7. That's but the saying
or
we
I
want a
can play
full.
mine.
But the point is, it's like I said. That's what I want. I want to be able to play the persistent universe with my friends and not have one of us get horribly frustrated and rage quit, because that's happened every time. I mean,
Facts.
that's what I want.
Facts.
I'm not saying
This-
they're going to
this
get there.
patch,
I understand they're
though-
going to get there. They have $400 million. Like, stop the scope getting bigger, and just make the game.
And
I
have
think
no
that's what
problem.
they're doing.
I have no
don't-
problem.
I haven't.
with them expanding the scope once they actually deliver on what they've already promised. If they want to make
It costs a lot. If you do that,
400
then
million.
it's way worse. It's way worse.
But that's
to
no.
build something
But
than
here's
increase
the
scope.
thing: all other games that are out there that are complete are complete. Now, granted, with the live service bullshit and AAA, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But at some point, you just got to stop and make the product. And
Yeah.
I know this is a different development and the first time, and the fact that we've been involved since the beginning. Yeah, it just needs to just hone in.
So
Make
what
make
I
Squadron
what I am
42
hearing-
for fuck's sakes.
what
The
I am
single player
hearing
game they haven't finished.
is. I'm sorry, I'm gonna troll you.
It's
I'm
they're-
hearing. I'm a millennial and I want it now.
It's been 12 years.
been 12
I
years.
can't say
That's-
that without laughing.
at some
sorry.
on some point
Yeah,
it
yeah.
needs to
No,
like
and
I know
to be fair,
they're getting better. They're getting
to
better.
be
but
fair, I haven't heard of new features that are being added that are like, oh, we're gonna add this craziness to the game. Like everything that I've seen in the last
on
probably
some
2
level,
years,
I would argue they need to
have-
bring the scope back and actually put out a product and then add these features later, like other games do with either
So-
quote unquote DLC or whatever. Like it can be.
They are to some extent. That's the whole minimum sustainable release that they're looking at right now,
And what's the
because
timeline
we're
for
not
that?
going to get.
Out of curiosity, what are they saying? I actually haven't been following it. So I don't know.
I don't know that anyone has specifically said anything, but
That's
sooner rather than later. Yeah, but here's the thing: when they have missed so many dates, by them putting a date out, you would
It's
have
meaningless. Yeah.
another chance of failure.
But here's the thing. Also, if they don't put out, like, I understand that based on what they've done in the past, but at some point there has to be an overall plan. Otherwise, they're gonna have. It's gonna be $1 trillion game.
I just
You watch.
don't. I
It's
just
gonna
don't
get there
want this
eventually.
game to die because Chris Roberts dies of old fucking age before the game's done.
Nah, we've got Aaron
That's-
too, and Aaron gets shit done. So if Chris dies, Aaron
but
will
the point-
complete it
But the
and
point
actually
is,
complete it.
we're
'cause
talking
he's
on the
got a
scale of
record.
human lives. That's not
Yeah,
good
yeah.
for a product.
Uh,
And yes, there are millions of other games to play. But if the game comes out in 50 years, what's the point?
Yeah.